Okay, as you can see, now we've got the whole bell housing bolted up to the back of the engine. We still have it on the stands, and we're getting ready to bring this front section back and marry it up with the back section here. But there's a little modification I'd like to do. Now, when we look at the pipe here that comes, we have the suction pipe going in, we have the bottom pipe here, it's the pressure coming back out. Now that pressure that comes back out, it comes back into the rear housing here, and I'll just lock the camera off there, and it comes into the rear housing here. And what they did have was a little bush like that. Now that little bush, I'll just try and bring the microphone down a little bit lower and keep it out of the picture. Okay, now that little bush originally looked like this, and it poked in there, and this front pipe, when the pipe come back in there, this bush was supposed to hold it there. But what they found out over time was, as with this one, this little bush had gone back, and you can feel the back of that, where the bush goes, you can feel, stick your finger up where the transmission filter goes here, and you can feel where it goes through there. So you can actually touch your fingers there. So I don't think I can get anything. Can I? Oh yes, I can. There you go. So you can come from your transmission filter, and so what happens is over time this pushes back out of the way. It sort of half blocks the hole in here, but what it does is actually it lets the pipe move out of the transmission pump. Now the pipe, this pipe here, it lets that move back and become disengaged with the front of the transmission pump. So John Deere brought out a fix for that, and the fix consists of, once again, the bush, but what they want us to do is we fit the bush, we drill through the housing here, and we put this roll pin in. And now the roll pin goes through the bush actually, and it goes through the bush, and then we tap a little pipe thread and put a little plug in behind it, and that has to be 5 millimeters from this front surface to the front of the bush here, and that way that pipe cannot move out of the transmission pump just with normal wear and tear and vibration. So in the 50 series you didn't need this, like in a 2250, 24, 26, 28, 50, 33, 50. You didn't need this. The housing was actually machined smaller in there, so the pipe could not physically move back. So the kit, if your tractor has done this, I'll see if I can. Yeah, there's the number there. Repair kit AL41352. And look, there's a really good instruction. You'll have to go genuine with this part, and this more or less gives us a picture of 5 millimeters, or a measurement of 5 millimeters from the front surface to where the bush goes in, and then securing the stop bushing. For the spring pin supplied with kit that secures the stop bushing, drill a 3 millimeter or a 1/8 hole to the depth of 58 millimeters or 2.28 inches in the right hand side of the transmission case, and it gives you a bit of a diagram there, and it gives you the measurements to drill. Now if we look at that ball bearing there, That's a blanked off housing, blanked off oil gallery. It says come down 32 mil or look around 1.25 inches, then come back in. What have we got to come back in here? We have to drill an 8.5 millimetre hole or an 1132, and we have to come back 11 millimetres. And then there's you can see the measurements at the top here. I'm not sure if that was in screen before. And then that's the cutaway of the bush sitting in there, the roll pin right through, and the plug in behind it. To assemble, follow the removal procedure in reverse. Go on, eh? And that's a little bit of a parts diagram of what's in the kit. So our tractor's an early one, so it hasn't got the housing machine for that. So these measurements here, those blokes there, look, all they're doing is they're bringing, once that bush is in, they're bringing it back in just below, and you just look for the centre line there really, and come back about 3/8 of an inch, 7/16, drill through, put the roll pin in, and away you go. So that's a guide. You don't have to follow it strictly, but look, we'll follow it, we'll move along with it, and we'll see how we go. So to get the show on the road, we'll pop this bush in. Now the bush has a little taper there. I've put the join to the top. Now just so when we drill through here, we're not trying to drill through where that is there. So we'll just pop that in. Now we'll get our screwdriver and we'll just bump that in nice and evenly to around 5 millimetres. Now I have a vernier here, we'll just set that at 5 and lock it. And that can go just a tad more. There we are, there's our 5 mil. So when we swing around here and look at the pipe sitting out here, look, that's exactly, I'll set this at 5 again. Well, that's about 4 millimetres. So we've got about 1 millimetre. Where are we? There. Yeah, look, that's about 4 millimetres sticking out, so that's okay. So we'll swing back around to the back here. I'll try and come over there where I'm out of the way a little bit, but you can still see. I may even drop the tripod, I think. We're on the lowest setting we can find just at the moment. Or the lowest setting for the camera anyway. So we'll bring that down. If I put that at the back there, that should give me a bit of room to come in here for the drill. I can go back a little bit further. Anyway, look, we'll try for there. Actually, I do need it to be at the front here so you can see how we're lining up with this hole here. So if you can just see around where that hole is, that probably wouldn't be too bad. So now we've got that in, I've got a cordless drill here. A metric drill set. This is a new one I hadn't opened yet, but anyway, it's nice to have a good sharp drill for these jobs. And we'll find a 3mm drill. There it is there. Now they're saying we need to go in 58mm. So we'll get the verniers going here. The battery's gone flat, but that doesn't matter. They're saying we need to go in that deep, which doesn't leave an awful lot of the drill, does it? But anyway, we'll go in as deep as we can, and I'm not going to muck with the measurements too much. We're just going to go straight in there and make sure we've got enough meat at the back here to put the plug in. If we do the 11mm, 10, 11, so if we do the 11mm, that should give us a little scribe mark there. And then how far down do we have to go? 32 from the centre of that ball. So 31, 32 on the verniers. That's pretty close to the centre of the ball. Lean forward, so X marks the spot. We'll probably have to re-grab the drill a couple of times. So if we run it through on that angle there, we should be close. Put him on fast. I'll come back once I've got the hole drilled, eh? No use looking at the back of a drill. Well, as you may or may not be able to see, I'll just poke the drill up the hole so you can see. I've drilled through. I've gone into the depth required. I couldn't quite get this drill in far enough, so then I went and drilled the 8.5mm hole to take the 827 thread per inch tap, and that gave me a little bit more room to poke the nose of the chuck in and get it a little bit deeper. So we'll start off with a tapered tap. I'll get that brake pipe out of the way. We'll start off with a tapered tap, and we'll going like butter. I'll just take that down. That went in 1/2 inch, that hole. So I'll put a little mark on the drill to tell me when I was getting there. Okay, now we'll put the plug or the bottoming tap down through. That'll just give us a good base. It's a tapered thread, and all we want to do is seal it off. We want to retain the roll pin. So we want to retain this little pin here, and we want to put a plug in behind it to help keep it there. So So that should have the thread done. I'll grab the air hose. Right, so we've blown all this out. Now we can pop this little roll pin in. We'll have to bump him all the way. I'll bring the camera over there. Where the backlight, shooting through here we get a lot of backlight, but we'll just see. Now that little pin is quite soft for a roll pin. Okay, that's to the bottom of the hole. You can see the pin sitting in there, so that's captive now, that can't go anywhere. So now we have the little plug. Before we put any Loctite on, we'll just do a test run. Might just do a quick clean-up run, just in case I burn it with that punch. Well, that feels good. Okay, now a little bit of Bearco R68. It's just a retaining compound. And we're looking to retain the pin and seal any oil from coming out. Oh, that's tight. Oh, well, there you go. That's as far in as we can get it. I've had them go in deeper than that, I don't know. But that's it. That's not going to leak anyway. So there you go. That's a bit of a close-up of the whole show. That should go in deeper. If I didn't have that pin in there, I'd actually try and see if I can get that in a bit deeper. But look, it's neither your arse nor your elbow. It doesn't matter. As long as it retains the pin, and perhaps that thread was a bit dicky on the plug. I didn't think to look at that. Anyway, look, that's fine. Job done. So that's how you fit an AL41352 kit to stop the transmission pipe out of your transmission pump heading back into your gearbox and losing all hydraulic function. If that goes back, you lose all hydraulic function.